So Pamela, what are you fixing here?
We're just cutting up some radishes and some petite baby carrots, some broccoli, some endives to put in our dip. We're gonna make a feta, whipped feta.
That looks good and healthy. Oh my goodness.
Should we So today we're going to be cooking from the Better Homes and Gardens Fall Cookbook. We're going to be making a whipped feta with tomatoes and basil. So first what we're going to do is we're going to start with our clove of garlic. It says 1, mine are small, so I'm doing multiple. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to process those. So we have our garlic cloves that we've minced in our food processor. We're going to add 2 ounces of cream cheese, 1.5 cups of feta, crumbled feta, doesn't fall your favorite time of year, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. And in this recipe, we are going to use, instead of dill and mint, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of oil-packed sun-dried tomatoes. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of chopped basil. Should get pretty chopped up in here. And approximately about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then we blend. And here we have our tomato, basil, feta dip. We just add a little more olive oil. I think that should be pretty good.
How does it taste?
How does it taste? Let me have a taste. Definitely feta. Now you can store this up to a week covered in the fridge. And there you have it. You can maybe add a little more olive oil. Today we're going to cook from the Better Homes and Garden Fall Cookbook. We are going to make pumpkin toffee bars. So first we're going to make the crust, which consists of 3 cups of graham crackers. You can use ginger snaps. Unfortunately, I couldn't find them, so we're going to use the graham crackers. 1/4 a cup of sugar, 1/4 a cup of flour, and 1/2 a cup of melted butter. You just mix. To make the crust, mixed crust into our 9x13 pan and press it down. Press the mixture down so it's firm. Then we put in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to prepare the filling for our pecan pumpkin toffee bars. 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Three-fourths a cup of brown sugar. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, three-fourths a teaspoon of ginger, one-fourth of a teaspoon of cloves, and 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. Just mix it together. Fork. And to our mixture, we now will blend with a fork 4 eggs. Don't you just love fall? It's my favorite time of year. We have football, we have pumpkins, we have mums. And just mix. Gradually add 1½ cups of 50 and 50 and mix well. Just removed our crust. It's been in the oven at 375 degrees for 10 minutes. We're now going to add our filling and then put it back in the oven for another 20 minutes. Back in the oven for 20 minutes. Third step, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup for the strudel of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of the flour, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 6 tablespoons of butter. And that will go directly on top of our second layer, pumpkin layer. So now the strudel's done, so we're going to actually put it on top evenly, as you can. And then we put it back in the oven for another 20 minutes. This is a layered dessert, for sure. So we now have the strudel on, and we're going to put it back in the oven for another 20 minutes. The final topping, you're going to put 1/2 cup of toffee all over. I'm sure it's going to melt lovely in there. And 1 cup of pecans toasted. After adding the final layer of the toffee and the pecans, the toasted pecans, you're going to want to let it cool on a wire rack for at least about right around 2 hours, but then you want to cut it and then store it into single level into Tupperware. Whenever I receive my fall magazine from Better Homes and Garden, I usually pick out a recipe or two to make for whatever the season is. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully we'll see you soon.